This is Tojmo and you're watching Hornbill TV Prime Time. The Armed Forces Special Powers Act or AFSPA has extended in 3 districts of Assam for another 6 months starting October 1. The family of Assamese singer Zubin Garg has lodged an online complaint with the Assam Criminal Investigation Department, which is probing the circumstances surrounding the musician's death in Singapore on September 19. A self-styled Godman accused of sexually harassing 17 women at an ashram in Delhi has been arrested in Agra. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Saturday said Moscow is open to negotiations to end the war in Ukraine, stressing that Russia's security concerns and the rights of Russian-speaking people must be addressed before any settlement. In an airstrike carried out on Saturday, Israeli forces eliminated Hamas terrorist Muhammad Aham Yosef al-Jalal, who killed police special forces Arnon Zmora on June 8, 2024 during a Gaza raid that rescued 4 Israeli hostages. The Armed Forces Special Powers Act or AFSPA has extended in 3 districts of Assam for another 6 months starting October 1. A notification issued on Saturday stated that the state government had recommended continuation of the disturbed area status in Tinsukia, Charadio and Sivsagar districts. The Union Home Ministry concurred with the recommendation and the extension was approved. The Assam government, however, noted that the overall law and order situation in the state has improved significantly owing to sustained counter-insurgency operations and proactive efforts by security forces. The AFSPA was withdrawn from the entire state on April 1, 2022, bearing 9 districts and a subdivision of Kachar district. Subsequently, it was withdrawn from the 6th district in phases. Civil society groups, right activists, and even some political parties have demanded the withdrawal of the law from the entire Northeast, alleging violation of human rights by armed forces under its cover. A self-styled Godman accused of sexually harassing 17 women at an ashram in Delhi has been arrested in Agra. The accused, Swami Chaityananda Saraswati, also known as Partha Sarati, posed as the director of a private management institute, the Sri Shraddha Institute of Indian Management in Delhi's upscale Vasant Kunj. Complaints against him include abusive language, lewd text messages, forced physical contact, and harassment of students from the economically weaker sections enrolled in postgraduate diploma courses. Victims allege that institute wardens introduced them to the Baba, who lured them with promises of foreign trips and engaged in obscene chats. It has also been revealed that he secretly installed cameras in the women's hostel. Following the allegations, Chaitanyananda was expelled from his post at the ashram.
3 दिन से हमारी टीम बनी हुई थी। हमने अलग अलग स्टेटों में दिल्ली के अलावा हरियाणा, राजस्थान, यूपी, उत्तराखंड, वेस्ट बंगाल तक भी हमने टीमें रवाना करी थी। ये जो आरोपी है पार्था सारथी उर्फ चैतन्यानंद सरस्वती की तलाश में इसी दौरान हमें कल एक रात में सफलता मिली, जिसमें कि ये आगरा के हमें मिल गया। इसको वहाँ पे आइडेंटिफाई किया गया तो पता लगा ये वही है, तो इसको वहाँ से एप्रीहेंड किया गया और अभी लाया गया है और अभी इसकी आगे केस में गिरफ्तारी डाल के इसकी पूछताछ की जाएगी।
सर बाबा से क्या रिकवर हुआ है? सर क्या रिकवर हुआ है? अभी रिकवर
इससे अभी 3 फ़ोन मिले हैं, एक आईपैड मिला है, उन सब की अभी जांच की जाएगी और कुछ विजिटिंग कार्ड मिले हैं जो कि ये फेक विजिटिंग कार्ड इसने बना रखे थे यूएन और ब्रिक्स के, अपने आप को भारत सरकार के अधिकारी दिखाते हुए वो देंगे। नहीं, अभी ऐसा कोई आई कार्ड नहीं मिला, बाकी अभी आगे ये अभी अपना अलग अलग डेली लोकेशन चेंज करा था पुलिस से बचने के लिए, वृंदावन, आगरा, मथुरा उन एरियाज में अपना घूम रहा था।
सर पिछले 2 महीने से क्या ये उन्हीं इलाकों में था? पिछले 2 महीने से जब से ये फरार चल रहा था?
ये वृंदावन, मथुरा, आगरा, जब ये बाहर से आया उसके बाद ये उसी इलाके में घूम रहा था।
बदलने की कोशिश भी की बाबा ने क्या?
नहीं, फिलहाल ऐसा कोई आया नहीं है, बाकी आगे कुछ आएगा।
सर मोबाइल में क्या कुछ अभी तक मिला, कुछ सेंसिटिव कुछ मिला हो इसके?
उसमें अभी चेक किया जा रहा है, अभी आगे डिटेल शेयर।
कुछ लड़कियों के वीडियो वगैरह भी बरामद हुए उसमें क्या?
नहीं, अभी ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
अरेस्टिंग कौन से मामले में हुई है? मोलेस्टेशन वाले में या वित्तीय निमित्त?
अभी इसके मोलेस्टेशन वाले केस में हम अरेस्ट डाल रहे हैं।
तो आज पुलिस रिमांड मांगी जाएगी?
बिल्कुल मांगी जाएगी।
थैंक यू सर।
On the Karur stampede, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor described the incident as tragic and painful, stressing that repeated stampede highlights serious gaps in crowd management in the country. Recalling similar incidents in the past, Tharoor said it is heartbreaking to hear of children losing their lives. He emphasized the need for a national policy to protect people attending large gatherings, whether political events, film functions, or sports meets. The Congress MP urged the central and state governments to adopt strict protocols and uniform standards for managing large crowds, so that such avoidable tragedies and the grief of losing loved ones can be prevented in the future.
A tremendous pain and grief at the loss of so many lives. Initial reports are 31, now reports are climbing up to 40. It's a very, very tragic and painful situation. Something is wrong in our country with crowd management. Every year there seems to be an incident. We remember Bangalore when at the stadium, again, a number of innocent lives were lost. And you hear of children being killed in both these incidents. Very, very heartbreaking. I'm not blaming anybody because it's very easy to play politics with all this. One group will say that it's the organizers of the rally who are at fault. Another group will say the state government is responsible for law and order. Third government will say the police were not there. That's not the argument. For me, the argument is about what can we do as a systematic policy nationally to protect ordinary people. People go in a spirit, whether it's to listen to a politician who happens to be a movie star, whether it's to celebrate a cricket team who are also like movie stars for us. If we are going for such purposes, surely the basic thing must be there must be some protocols or rules or standards in place that this doesn't happen. I really mourn for the lost ones. I convey my condolences to the families, but at the same time I earnestly appeal to the central government and all state governments to agree on a set of very strict procedures governing all large crowds in any circumstances, so that we do not needlessly suffer the grief and anguish of loved ones being lost in these terrible stampedes. Look, everyone is responsible. I'm afraid it's one of these situations where the organizers of a political rally or a cricket rally or anything else, they get some portion of the responsibility. The state government has to also shoulder the responsibility for maintaining order. Public order is a state issue. And the police have a responsibility for also doing all of that. So clearly, pinning blame one or the other, this what they call in Hindi, tu tu main, is not my kind of approach. I want a solution. I want to take steps so that in future we don't have any.
Prohibitions under Section 163 of Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023 continue to be imposed in Leh following the September 24 violence on amid the demands for statehood for Ladakh and inclusion in the 6th schedule of the Constitution. Assembly of 5 or more persons is banned in the district. No procession, rally or march to be carried out without prior written approval. Security personnel are deployed in Leh amid the unrest. This comes after a demonstration turned violent and targeted the BJP office in Leh. Earlier on Thursday, Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh Kavinder Gupta chaired a high-level security review meeting in Leh to assess the prevailing situation across the Union Territory amid heightened concerns over public safety. During the meeting, the late governor emphasized the need for heightened vigilance, seamless interagency coordination and proactive measures to safeguard peace, security and public border across Ladakh. Meanwhile, activist Sonam Wangchuk, who was leading the protest with a hunger strike, find himself in the middle of the political tension in the Union Territory. We have a short break now.
तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
Why remain unsure? Get tested for HIV if you ever had unprotected sex. HIV testing is easy and confidential.
तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Saturday said Moscow is open to negotiations to end the war in Ukraine, stressing that Russia's security concerns and the rights of Russian-speaking people must be addressed before any settlement. At the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Lavrov said that, as President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly emphasized, Russia has been and remains open to negotiations on eliminating the root cause by the conflict.
Права русских и русскоязычных людей на территориях, остающихся под контролем киевского режима, должны быть восстановлены в полном объеме. На этой основе готовы вести речь о гарантиях безопасности Украины. Пока же ни у Киева, ни у его европейских спонсоров не просматривается осознание остроты момента и готовности договариваться по-честному. Североатлантический альянс продолжает экспансию вплотную к нашим границам, вопреки данным еще советским лидерам заверениям не продвигаться ни на дюйм на восток. Вопреки принятым членами НАТО в ОБСЕ обязательствам соблюдать принцип неделимости безопасности, не укреплять собственную безопасность за счет других, не претендовать на доминирование. Мы неоднократно предлагали натовским столицам уважать свои обязательства и договориться о юридически обязывающих гарантиях безопасности.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Saturday emphasized the need for collective action against terrorism, pointing to India's long-standing experience with the threat posed by its neighbor, which has been the epicenter of global terrorism. Addressing the 80th United Nations General Assembly, Jaishankar cited the recent murder of 26 innocent tourists in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, and stressed that nations must unequivocally condemn state-sponsored terrorism. He emphasized India's commitment to defending its people against terrorism and bringing perpetrators to justice. India exercised its right to defend its people against terrorism and brought its organizers and perpetrators to justice.
President, Excellencies, while asserting our rights, we must also firmly face up to threats. Countering terrorism is a particular priority because it synthesizes bigotry, violence, intolerance, and fear. India has confronted this challenge since independence, having a neighbor that is an epicenter of global terrorism. For decades now, major international terrorist attacks are traced back to that one country. UN's designated lists of terrorists are replete with its nationals. The most recent example of cross-border barbarism was the murder of innocent tourists in Pahalgam in April this year. India exercised its right to defend its people against terrorism and brought its organizers and perpetrators to justice. Because terrorism is a shared threat, Madam President, it is essential that there is much deeper international cooperation. When nations openly declare terrorism a state policy, when terror hubs operate on an industrial scale, when terrorists are publicly glorified, then such actions must be unequivocally condemned. The financing of terrorism must be choked, even as prominent terrorists are sanctioned. relentless pressure must be applied on the entire terrorism ecosystem. Those who condone nations that sponsor terror will find that it comes back to bite them. Madam President, an objective report card will show that the UN is in a state of crisis. When peace is under threat from conflicts, when development is derailed by lack of resources, when human rights are violated by terrorism, the UN remains gridlocked. As its ability to forge common ground diminishes, belief in multilateralism also recedes. Central to the erosion of the UN's credibility has been resistance to reform.
In an airstrike carried out on Saturday, Israeli forces eliminated Hamas terrorist Muhammad Ahmad Yusuf al-Jamal, who killed police special forces officer Arnon Jimora on June 8, 2024 during a Gaza raid that rescued 4 Israeli hostages. Al-Jamal was also one of the guards who held the hostages prisoner. Also eliminated with him was Sari Idris Muhammad al-Akrab, another Hamas terrorist who raided the country on October 7 and was close to Al-Jamal. Shin Bet and IDF eliminate Hamas terrorists who killed officer and fighter Arnon Jimora during the operation to rescue hostages from the Gaza Strip. The 4 Israeli hostages rescued were Noah Argamani, Almog Mirjan, Andrei Kozlov, and Shlomo Ziv, who were being held by Hamas in the Nusret refugee camp in the Gaza Strip. Maulana Khalid Rashid has issued a statement urging Muslims across the country to ensure that no difficulties are faced by Hindu communities during the festival celebrations. He highlighted that during the month of Rabi'ul Awal, people express mutual love and harmony, and stressed that the emerging trend of discord must be stopped to maintain communal peace and goodwill.
मेरी तमाम मुसलमानों से अपील है कि हर तरीके से अमन कायम रखें और इस वक्त हमारे हिंदू भाइयों के बड़े त्यौहार हैं, लिहाजा उसमें किसी किस्म की किसी को दिक्कत और परेशानी न हो, इस बात को यकीनी बनाना ज़रूरी है। और अभी रबीउल अव्वल के मुबारक महीने में हम लोगों ने बड़े पैमाने पर 11 रबीउल अव्वल को सीरतुन नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के जलसे किए और उसमें आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से अपनी अकीदत और मोहब्बत का इजहार किया। फिर 12 रबीउल अव्वल को मिलादुन नबी के मौके पर बड़े पैमाने पर पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में और पूरे मुल्क में जुलूस निकाल कर हम लोगों ने हर तरीके से आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से मोहब्बत का इजहार किया। लिहाजा अब जो ये एक नया ट्रेंड चला है, इसको रोकने की सख्त ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि अगर आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से आप मोहब्बत करते हैं तो अपने आला अखलाक का मुजाहरा करें, अपने आला और बेहतर से बेहतर कैरेक्टर और किरदार का मुजाहरा करें। आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से मोहब्बत के माने ये हैं कि आप अपने बच्चों को बेस्ट पॉसिबल एजुकेशन और क्वालिटी एजुकेशन को इंश्योर करें। अगर आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से मोहब्बत का इजहार करना है तो इस बात को यकीनी बनाएं कि किसी भी तरीके का कोई भी काम ऐसा ना किया जाए जिससे कि हमारे पड़ोसी को या किसी को भी दिक्कत और परेशानी का सामना करना पड़े। इसीलिए इस बात की अपील की जाती है कि हर तरीके से अमन कायम रखना हमारे और आपकी जिम्मेदारी है।
We'll be back after a break.
तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के विकसित भारत के विजन को माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के साथ 25 करोड़ नागरिकों ने बनाया है समर्थ उत्तर प्रदेश का विजन 2047। विषय विशेषज्ञ, सेवानिवृत्त IAS, IPS, वैज्ञानिक, कुलपति, प्रोफेसर, चिकित्सक एवं सेक्टोरल स्पेशलिस्ट का पैनल कर रहा है जनपद से ग्राम स्तर तक जन संवाद। तो प्रत्येक नागरिक अपने बहुमूल्य सुझाव देकर बन रहा है यूपी के विकास में भागीदार। मोबाइल से QR कोड स्कैन करें और पोर्टल samarthuttarpradesh.up.gov.in पर लिखकर या बोलकर दर्ज कराएं सुझाव। ये पोर्टल पूरी तरह निशुल्क है और 5 अक्टूबर 2025 तक खुला है। आपके सुझावों से तैयार होगा विकसित यूपी का रोड मैप और मूल्यवान सुझाव देने वाले होंगे सम्मानित। विकसित यूपी के निर्माण में बनिए सहभागी। हम मिलकर बनाएंगे आत्मनिर्भर उत्तर प्रदेश, 2047 का समर्थ उत्तर प्रदेश।
तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
Actor-politician Vijay today announced a compensation of ₹20 lakhs for the families of each of the 39 people killed in a stampede at his rally in Tamil Nadu's Karur last evening. The TVK chief said his party will also give ₹2 lakhs each to the nearly 100 injured in the tragedy. In a social media post on his party's official handle, TVK chief and actor-politician expressed deep grief over the recent tragedy. He was overwhelmed with sorrow and described the pain in his heart as indescribable, recalling the faces of loved ones and supporters who have shown affection and care. He extended his heartfelt condolences to all families affected, acknowledging the immense and irreparable loss. Announcing a financial support package, he said each family that lost a loved one would receive ₹20 lakhs, while those injured and undergoing treatment would be provided ₹2 lakhs. Earlier, the MK Stalin-led DMK government in Tamil Nadu announced a compensation of ₹10 lakhs for the dead and ₹1 lakh for the injured. Six-time world boxing champion Mary Kom's residence in Faridabad, Sector 46 was burglarized recently. As police confirmed on Saturday, the incident occurred on September 24 while the celebrated Olympian was away in Meghalaya, participating in an international half-marathon event in Sora. According to police officials, Mary Kom had securely locked her house before leaving. The robbery came to light when neighbors alerted authorities about suspicious activity at her home. The police team promptly arrived at the scene on Saturday evening and launched an investigation into the break-in. CCTV footage from the area is currently being reviewed to identify the suspects and understand the modus operandi. The police spokesperson also mentioned that an FIR would be registered after assessing the findings, including details of stolen items. The boxer has already confirmed the development and added that she will learn more about the burglary upon reaching Faridabad.
क्या सूचना मिली, क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन?
ये 10-12 दिन पहले बाहर गए हुए थे, मकान बंद था, तो इसमें पता चला कि चोरी हुई है। उनके जो कोच है वो यहाँ आए हुए हैं, उन्होंने देखा है। अभी लिस्ट बना रहे हैं, बाकी क्राइम ब्रांच की टीम आ गई है, हमारी फॉरेंसिक टीम जांच कर रही है। कुछ पता चला है, CCTV भी खंगाल रहे हैं, तो आगे जो जल्दी से जल्दी आरोपियों को गिरफ्तार।
किसका मकान है
ये मेरी कोम जी का है। और देख रहे हैं इसमें मकान जिसका भी हो, हमें जल्दी से जल्दी टीम क्राइम ब्रांच की कई बना दी गई है और उसमें जल्दी से जल्दी आरोपी गिरफ्तार करेंगे।
अच्छा, CCTV चूंकि सामने आ गई है और आपने मौका मुआयना भी किया है, तो क्या पता चल रहा है किस तरह से, कितने लोग रहे होंगे, किस तरह घर में घुसे और किस तरह से कार्रवाई की?
ये भी जांच का विषय है। जैसे ही सारी चीजें सामने आएगी आप लोगों को बताया जाएगा। कोशिश है जल्दी से जल्दी आरोपी को गिरफ्तार किया जाए।
चोरी की घटना को कब अंजाम दिया है और CCTV क्या अभी तक पुलिस ने देखा है? कितने लोग आए थे, कैसे कैसे चढ़े, कैसे कैसे चोरी?
काम चल रहा है, सारी डिटेल बाद में बताएंगे, क्योंकि ये भी चीजें कई बार आरोपियों को फायदा पहुंचा जाए।
पड़ोसी कह रहे हैं कि पीछे से सीढ़ी लगा करके चढ़े थे। और
That is all for now. Stay tuned for more updates on Hornbill TV.